met him, but you know, he sends information every once in a while.
Okay. Well, we actually have an amazing referral network here with Century 21 as well. And the last two clients that I've helped sell their homes here have also moved out of state, and both have just had phenomenal things to say about the agent that we placed them with. So if, you know, I don't want to step on any toes with the agent that you're speaking with, but if at some point you don't feel confident in that agent, which I just had another client just tell me that, they went to South Carolina and they didn't feel really good with the agent, be more than happy to set you up with a professional on our network.
Thank you.
Would that be something that would help you?
I will be open for that, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And if you're comfortable with it, at the end of this, I'm gonna reach out to Karen Perry, who's in charge of setting up our out-of-state contacts. And if I can give her your name and number, she'll have a few questions and get you set right up. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so share with me, what is most important to you about getting your home sold?
Well, again, like any seller wants to, you know, want to sell it for the most possible, of course, so we can buy a great property out in Arizona.
Okay, so you're using the money from the proceeds of this sale to purchase your next property?
Correct.
Wonderful, and it's important for you to get every penny, every dollar that you can from the sale of this home.
Very important, yeah.
That's great. Well, and that's exactly what I plan to do for you, so that's wonderful. What would you do if your home did not sell?
Well, I guess the option would probably be rent it.
To rent the
Rent
property?
it, yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at renting it, so would you still move if you rent it?
Yes.
Okay, and moving to out of Arizona, I assume?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so have you spoken to a loan officer yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, that's one of the first things that we wanna do after we meet tomorrow, is I have a trusted loan officer as well, who in 15 minutes, you can have a nice conversation with them and get a good idea of what you can do to purchase over there. Cause we wanna explore all of your options before we do anything in terms of listing your home for sale. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay, cause the last thing I wanna do is we start the sale of the home and then we find out that you can't actually rent it out to purchase the next property. If you're in position to do that, one of the things they're gonna look at is your debt to income ratio, right? And if you're in position, because you're relocating to Arizona, let me ask you, do you already have a job lined up in Arizona?
No, I don't.
Okay, you don't have a job lined up there. What do you plan to do when you move out to Arizona?
Well, guess, you know, just look for a job out there.
Okay, so were you planning to start that search now, or were you gonna plan to do it after your home sold?
No, do it now.
Okay, so you're gonna start looking now. Well, again, it's another thing that we wanna make sure that that part is secure, you know, before we list your home for sale, okay?
Okay, makes sense.
Now, and we'll just pause it real quick, right? So what have we identified right here? What have we found out just based on what he shared? Go ahead.
Well, he explained that he was going to rent his house if not, and or buy, but when he's moving there, you kind of identified and maybe even brought to his attention the fact he's gonna need to have a job
Right,
when he's in Arizona
right,
in order to qualify.
right. So the risk or the concern can be that, well, maybe after doing enough research, he may find out that he's not in position to at least rent or to even move, right? So that's a chance, but what we wanna find out as the agent is truly how motivated is this individual that we're gonna be committed in a relationship with, right? I mean, that we're both, in a sense, liable to each other. So we need to make sure that it all makes sense before we get started on this process. So a very important discovery through this, and how many people do you think do that before they ever meet face to face? It's critical. But on your end, how would you feel if these questions and these answers started coming up? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Does it make you feel confident in the person who's asking the questions?
Confident, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because we're asking important, valid questions, and that's the key to this, is based on what he's sharing with me. And I know sometimes they can seem like tough questions, but they're important questions, and whoever asks the most difficult questions that somebody else is willing to answer and get the deepest with, that's likely who they're gonna list with, right? Because most agents aren't gonna ask and get as deep just after the second or third question, right? And then ideally, we're gonna try to go through, but if you're spending 30 minutes on a pre-qual, that's not bad. That's actually a good thing. The guy that, you know, we saw that I referred to last weekend out in Seattle, on average spends 30 minutes on every pre-qual conversation. He's analytical, he's got a list of questions, and he sees what works and what doesn't, and he keeps refining it, and you should. Don't just base it off of here, add to it. When you hear that there's multiple agents, the very first question I'm gonna ask them right after that, if they don't share with me who the agents are, is what is your expectations in the agent that you look to hire? That question isn't always on here on your pre-qual scripts. So make sure you have that in your arsenal because it's an important one. And that truly has given me the answers to know exactly what my prospective seller is thinking, right? So what are your expectations in the agent that you look to hire?
Can I add one last thing though,
Yes,
too?
ma'am.
I mean, I think sometimes too, by not asking that question about how he's gonna position himself when he moves,
Right?
he could be in a situation where he's listed his home, he's sold his home,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah,
finds
you do.
out that he is not qualified and cannot buy. I mean, he could always rent, of course,
Right.
but that may not have been in his plans. of
Not at
course.
all. And that happens a
Yes,
lot.
yeah.
It happens a lot. If we don't do enough digging early on, you're gonna find that you're gonna be in escrow and your reputation's on it, right? That we're in escrow and this person can't sell. Well, why didn't we ask those questions? Why didn't we dig deep enough? Why did we go so quick to just sign in the paperwork, right?
And for you, it's like as the agent, you're finding out how ready is this person on the other end?
Right,
And if he hasn't spoken to a lender,
right,
he hasn't really, I'm like already, he's not ready, but let me help him get ready.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's what I just picked up right away.
that's exactly it. It's identifying where they're at. What do they know, what don't they know,
Yeah.
right? We have to figure that out. And the only way we figure it out is by asking these
That's
questions.
true. But if he did say, yeah, I have a lender,
Right,
I have an agent, then you're like, oh,
right.
he is
We're going.
ready,
Right.
like he is gonna sell his house.
Right, but you
Yeah,
also know
motivated.
typically when they're that far along, somebody's been coaching them through the process,
Yeah.
right? So
Who?
it's likely that, right, it's likely you got some competition for the
Yeah.
business there. And again, we wanna respect the relationships, you know, and ask those questions as well, okay? So let's, try to think which, I know we're still pretty early on. Number 4 was, what would you do if the home didn't sell? Okay.
Yeah.
Where will you
You
be
know where
moving
you're
to
going.
next? You already shared that with Arizona. So number 6, how much do you wanna list your home for realistically?
We're thinking about 550.
Okay, 550, that's great. And, do you mind sharing with me how you came up with 550,000?
Well, I've been looking online and there's a house that's sold around the corner, model match of mine, and that's why we're just picking up the price.
Okay, so now we know that he's been watching the market, right? This isn't just last night he thought of selling his home, he's paying attention to what's happened, so motivation level's a little bit higher there. I also could have found out that another agent gave him that number, right? I could have found out that he's basing it off of Zillow's estimate. I could have, we can find out so many different things off of that. So when I come out, I'm gonna provide you with a net sheet so that you'll know exactly what you're gonna walk away with. So how much money do you currently owe on the property, Jesus?
I'll yield 200,000.
200,000, well, great job there. You obviously have quite a bit of equity there, so nice job with that. Who's on title?
My wife and I.
Okay, and it says fill out appointment worksheet, that's also when you're building a team of excellence, so there's an appointment worksheet that you can fill out there, okay, and you can go through more questions. Will all the decision makers be there? Will you and your wife be there tomorrow at 4 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Let me ask you this, if what I say makes sense, and you feel I can't sell your home, will you be prepared to list your home with me?
It's a good possibility.
Great, well, I look forward to sitting down with you in person, so. When I come out there, we're gonna accomplish 3 things. First, I'm gonna share with you my unique marketing plan. Second, I'm gonna discuss with you market conditions and pricing. And third, if you feel comfortable at this point, I'm gonna ask you to sign the paperwork so we can begin the process of getting your home sold. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So based on that, is there anything that would prevent you from listing your home with me on Friday at 4 o'clock?
No, not now.
Okay. Let me give you my name and number. Do you have a pen?
I do.
Okay, remember, this is calling like a FSBO or an expired, right? Okay, wonderful. So I'm then I give the phone number, right? I'm excited to come out and meet with you, see your home and help you get it sold. So Jesus, I really appreciate your time. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
See you then.
Okay?
Good question.
Yes, sir.
Well, number 8, number 9 is great. Who's on title? Will decision makers be there when I arrive? If they say no,
Mhm.
what steps should I take?
Okay, so great question. So if the decision maker's not gonna be there, then my recommendation is to try to make it where both of them are gonna be there. So I would personally change the time. Now, if you know that they're interviewing a couple other agents, and this may be your only crack, then at least get in the first time, face to face, but try to do it where you do a 2-part presentation. And that way you at least were able to get in with somebody, but if the decision maker's not there, you're wasting your time, really. You need the decision maker there, and if both parties need to be there, that's normally what I'm gonna try to solidify for it. So, does that help you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you always have to be flexible, so you can't, if you're too controlling with it, you could blow your opportunity at even meeting face to face, and ultimately, the number one goal is to meet face to face. You wanna meet them face to face however you do it. The phone call is good, but the face to face starts showing commitment on their part. You know, that's always like the first thing, it's like, okay, when I'm getting my foot inside the house, I know that, you know, there's a high probability that good things are gonna happen. But if I never get my foot inside that door, it's not gonna happen. So that's where some people will set too many conditions before they get there, and they never have the chance to meet. So you gotta kinda use your own judgment call on it, but that's in a nutshell how it works. I never just give you just one straight answer, but that's you know, truly how I think about each of those situations.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so what I'd like to do right now, if you guys are good with it, we can do a couple different ways. We can either do round robin, where we bounce it off each other, or we can just pair up and do it individually. What would you guys prefer for that? And going over this, I wanna practice this script.
Yeah.
You wanna do round robin?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a small enough group,
Yeah.
let's try it. Okay, so let's all stand up here. And it's a longer script. A lot of times we do the shorter ones on it. So we're gonna do round robin. So what I'll do is I'm gonna pick one person to be my seller, right? And I'll be the agent, and we'll just go through 2 questions together. Then after we do those 2, then whoever was the agent picks the next one, okay? And we'll just kind of go around in a circle here. Okay, so I just started with Jesus. So Jesus, why don't you be the agent, I'll be the seller. And then after the first 2 questions, then we're gonna go to, you can pick the next agent.
Okay,
You ready? So usually it's back to back on a phone call too.
so,
Okay?
ring.
Hello?
Hello, looking for Brandon.
Yes, this is Brandon.
Brandon, Jesus Languren here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jesus?
I'm great. I'm just calling about confirming our appointment tomorrow at 4. Are we still on?
We're on.
Great. So let me ask a question. Tell me, how long have you been trying to sell your home?
Oh man, it's been about 6 months now.
Ouch, 6 months.
Yep.
Really? So help me understand, what made you decide to sell this home?
Tired of California, man. Tired of the politics here. Tired of these high prices. I'm just ready to retire and get out of this crazy state.
Really? Just getting out of state? Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot.
Yep.
Well, I'll be more than happy to help you with that process.
Okay.
Then, right, 2 questions.
Yep. Okay. Nice job. So anything real quick? What did you like about what Jesus did during his questions?
He sounded really
Mhm.
energetic on the phone and
Good
confident.
charisma.
I like that already. Yeah.
He acknowledged.
Acknowledge. He did. He acknowledged what I said. Repeat and affirm.
Mhm.
Right. And he was like, "Ouch!" Right. It's good.
Like
Good.
he gets it.
Exactly. Good emotion.
Mhm.
You know, big thing whenever you make the initial call. This is some of the best advice I got from a manager out in Utah when we would make our prospecting calls. And he said, whenever you make a call like you're talking to one of your old best friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, right? Think of that. Don't get into it like, oh my gosh, they're gonna hate me. They're gonna. Think of it as it's an old best friend. That excitement, that energy level is gonna get you better results in terms of somebody wanting to listen to you and go to the next part of it. So nice job. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Any constructive criticism off of what he said?
Could I?
Are you good with it?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
that's how we grow.
Is that how you normally, the volume, is that normally how
Yeah,
can you lower that just a tad?
okay,
I think it's almost like screaming at them,
okay.
just
Good.
an observation.
Yeah, good,
Thank
good.
you.
And it's based on what you hear from me, right? So when the phone is, if I answer the phone and I'm like, hello, right?
Right.
And kind of quiet and
Right.
slower and doing that,
That's true.
you have to pick up on, and if I say hello, what I've been taught is you actually say hello back. If I say hi, you say hi back, right? So based on how I answer it, that's when we get into the 4 personality styles. That's a great observation, because if I am a little bit slower, then what we gotta do is we gotta lower the tone, right?
You have to
Just a
mirror
little.
the
Yes.
client.
Exactly.
So if they speak slowly
Yeah.
and calm, then you also
Yeah.
wanna.
Right.
And I hear you in my office, so I know you're talking that loud, and I'm sorry that I brought it up. I hope that doesn't
No,
offend
not
you.
at all. Not at all.
But You can still sound authoritative with his volume and still be in control of the conversation without yelling at them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, great. Anything else? And nice job on being open to hear it, man. No, because it's about being versatile, right? It's about growing. It's about being able to, because when we have one way of doing things, we're only connecting with 25% of the population. So we're missing out on 75% of opportunities because we're not connecting. And they're like, wow, that's way too strong for me. You know, some people be like, I love it. And it's just automatic, right? And it's typically gonna be similar personality styles. And that's what we're gonna tend to work with, right? So, no, that was awesome. So thank you both for being open to that. Okay, now everybody's scared to go to the next question. So go ahead, you get to pick the next one. Go ahead.
So I'll be the seller?
So you're the seller, pick any agent. Yeah, anybody that
Okay.
you want to be the agent.
Good, alright.
So go ahead, so you call him, or
Oh,
no, he's calling you,
me, yeah,
right? And
yeah,
try to do
I'll
it back
sell
to
it.
back, so it's not, it's like you're on the phone, you don't get to see the person.
Any questions you want? Or
we-
you start from the top?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were just
are we
going
from
through the
3, 4?
top. Yeah, let's just do 3, 4. Let's keep it in order just so we make sure we cover all of them.
Fantastic, Jesus. So share with me, Jesus, what's the most important thing to you about getting your home sold?
Well, netting the most amount of money, of course.
Fantastic, that means we're on the same page. And Jesus, what would you do if your home did not sell?
Well, that's not an option, I have to sell.
I completely understand, you have to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you good?
I think so.
Okay, all right, good. How did you feel about it?
And yeah, all good.
It felt okay?
Felt
So,
okay.
comfortable with the words. How did you feel just in terms of what you shared with him and how he asked the questions?
That he was listening, that's just that he
You
was
did?
listening.
You felt he was listening?
Yeah.
That's good. Any other observations?
He's friendly.
Friendly?
Mhm.
So good tone, right? Good energy level. Anything else?
Criticism.
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
No, it's okay. You're open to it. That's good. Any constructive criticism? Anything positive that you can share with it?
Repeat and affirm.
Repeat and affirm, right? So, did you get that? Just in
Repeat and
terms of
affirm.
repeating and affirming? Yeah. So this is, especially when we first started on doing this, right? It is key that we dig deep. The answers that he gave, does anybody remember what answers he gave for the 2 questions? So the first one, share with me what is most important to you about getting your home sold. What did he say?
Top dollar.
Top dollar,
Price.
right?
Yeah.
Price. So one way of responding could just be, so you're telling me that getting every penny for the sale of your home, or top dollar. I personally like to change the words. I don't say it exactly how they said it. I reframe it, but I say the same thing. And then also I try to help keep the focus, because this is a commission objection handler, right? Not focusing on the expense, focusing on the benefit, okay? So based on what he says, if he says, I need to get every penny, or I need to get top dollar for the sale, that's perfect. That's why we're speaking, because my promise to you is we're gonna get more money than you can with anybody else out there, right? So I'm gonna differentiate based on that point. The other thing is just dig deeper, okay? So we wanna dig deep, so share with me what is most important to you. So let's do it real quick, same questions, okay? We're just gonna do it. Go ahead. All right, so, yeah, so I'm the agent, right? Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hi, is this Jesus?
yes, it is.
Hi, Jesus. Share with me what is most important to you about getting your home sold.
Again, just netting the most money out of the sale of the home.
Okay, so you're trying to net the most money out of the sale of your home, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
That's wonderful. And can you tell me, what is it that you're hoping to do with the proceeds of the sale of the home?
Trying to buy 2 houses, moving to Texas.
Trying to buy 2 houses and move into Texas. Wonderful. Both in Texas?
Yes.
That's great. And do you have anybody that's helping you out in Texas?
Just kind of browsing around, but not really someone that is committed.
Okay, so we'll just stop there. So again, sticking to the same question, I'm digging deep, right? Next question, next question, next, I'm getting as deep. If I can do the whole prequel just off that question, okay? But we gotta get deep. And what we do is, we'll hear it, then we go to the next question. Hear it, go to the next question. And we are listening, but when you can dig deep like that, they know, wow, this person's listening to everything I'm saying. I'm gonna squeeze out as much info as I can get. Now, if he gives me a very short response and a short answer, then I'm gonna be mindful of that and see that the wall's still up. So maybe there is another better question that will make him feel more comfortable. And if it continues to be that way, then again, I gotta call a spade, right? Go ahead.
Question on that, because I've fallen into that where I sense the wall and it'll go away and it comes back more or less.
Right.
But then I'm thinking to myself, are they just a driver and they're not, they're short, but because they're drivers,
Right.
and or because maybe they don't like me, and or I'm not doing a great job with the questions. Do you know how to somewhat differentiate that?
That's another great question. So sometimes it is driver personality. Sometimes they're also testing you, and you got to be able to break that barrier, right? And then sometimes it's through a joke. Sometimes it's just having fun with it. Other times, especially if they're annoyed by all the agents that have been calling them on an expired or on a FSBO, right? I mean, you got to create some value really quick. So it's not about trying to joke in that situation. It's about hitting them with some facts and some concrete. And it's just like, look, see, you've been trying to sell your house for 6 months. You're at 515. This is a true story in Camarillo, FSBO. I see you're at 515 online, and you've been trying for now, it was about 60 days. It was about 2 months they tried to sell their home. And just asked them, I said, do you know why it hasn't sold? Well, I have somebody who's interested. So tell me a little bit more about that. He starts giving me the information. I said, okay, so it looks like these are the challenges you're gonna have. What if I told you right now, I could list your house on the market at 530,000 for this detached home, and you're still gonna walk away with the same amount of money that you're trying to get at 515, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the market up to you. Because think of the types of buyers that are typically looking at for sale by owners. Cash investors,
Right.
People looking for opportunities, right? They're not gonna write. Your commission's not involved. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna try to come in low, period, right? Or it's somebody who, there are the rare times that you have a buyer that legitimately is like getting beat out on everything. It's like, all right, we gotta open it up and go for FSBOs now, right? But for the most part, the mindset and the mentality is they're gonna come in super low. They're gonna come in low on there, and now you as a seller have one option that you're trying to negotiate with. What do you think sounds better? So what I told them, I said, look, you got that one that you're trying to work. Let me see what I can do. He said, okay, well, I'm actually out in Europe right now, so I'm kind of stuck in a tough spot right now. I said, well, let me go to work. Let me work an open house this week, and I need a signed listing agreement, and I'll exclude your other buyer here. I'll exclude it. So if that works out, you're good. I had to take, and I'm not recommending this, I took a 30-day listing agreement with them to show them in 30 days that I'm gonna get that home sold. It took 18 days, and it was stressful. It's very stressful, because the place did not look in good showing condition, but it was the lowest priced single-family home in Camarillo. And so by day 18, we did get offers. We got super low offers, but by day 18, we got a full price offer by a strong agent who came in and wrote, and they're stoked. They came up on a great opportunity. Seller's happy because it got done. So my agreement on that 30-day listing was, when I put it in escrow in 30 days, you're gonna extend it long enough, at least an additional 45 days for me to close this transaction. I said, yes, I'll do that. I said, okay, we got a deal. So I sent it over to him in Europe. He signed the DocuSign off that one phone call, and we were doing something similar to this. Doing a training, another gal showed up, and it's like, and I'm giving her advice on the FSBO, and I knew I had already talked to this guy last week. I was like, all right, I can't be a hypocrite. I need to call now. So after giving the advice, I made the call, literally took the listing that day over the phone. So it is doable. But, getting back to the question, it's morbid, I can tell you right now, just off of that and just being completely just upfront and honest. You gotta dig deep, you gotta acknowledge before you go to the next question. So just remember that. They're gonna give you the surface answer first. But if the wall comes up, they're not giving you a little bit more, you gotta be smart, because if you make them upset, you're done, right? So in certain situations, you just gotta move and try to get to a comfort level. So that would be the thing I would guess is more of it, and the more that you perfect it, the stronger you're gonna be in connecting with people. Sound good?
Thank you.
Okay, no, great. The openness is amazing, and that's the whole point of this. This isn't about anybody trying to one-up anybody. We're all in this together. We're all figuring it out. We're all at different stages of this. But the more that you do it, you're gonna see it's like, okay, that makes sense. We can get better at that. All right, so now it's your turn. You get to pick somebody else. Just watching time, making sure we're doing okay. We still got another 15 minutes. Are you guys doing okay?
Betty, but okay.
Go ahead.
All right, Alex.
Okay.